Good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to Throwbacks, where we talk all things cool and retro. And today I'm excited to finally have some new Power Rangers action figures going on. It has been a while. I think the last one we got was from Super 7, the Bulk and Skull. So yeah, it's definitely been a while. But here we are. We got Playmates Reignition Series. I guess Hasbro said, we can't figure it out, so let's just give it to Playmates. So we're going to see if Playmates does a good job. I've got the first wave minus the Red Ranger. I just realized before recording this that I somehow didn't grab a Red Ranger when I was at the store. So that's a bummer, and that's on me. But we do have pretty much everybody else. From what I'm understanding is there is going to be kind of a two-wave thing going on here. So we'll have Goldar, we'll have the Putties, Yellow and Pink coming soon. All the sets that I've seen have just been these Rangers, or these Rangers and Rita. But so far, really liking the package. It's fair price. I think these are $12 a piece, so really nice price there. You do kind of, for whatever, I guess you can maybe not really move them. Does it let you do it all the way? Okay, so yeah, so in the package, it allows you to go ahead and morph them. So I do like that. You know, that Billy head's pretty cool, but we're going to check that out. Liking the package. Let's see, we're going to see how they scale, see how they work all together, and see if I can say that the Mighty Morphin Reignition line is worth a purchase or not. So let's go ahead and get on into it. Alright, here we go. So I think the best way to do this is to do kind of one in-depth look at a Ranger and then kind of just do a quick overview of the rest. And then we'll dig deep into Rita because she's pretty important. But one thing to note, holy tie-downs. This thing had 9 tie-downs, so definitely a pain in the butt. Definitely have some scissors ready to go. Weapons, pretty plain Jane for sure. Not a whole lot of detail. Pretty rubbery. But they do connect here for this one, but from what I understand, they do not go together to form the blaster. So, you know, take that for what you want. You do get a blade blaster, actually pretty hefty, pretty good size. And then you do get a regular blaster. Again, not a lot of detail, really, like, short of the mold, pretty much no detail. So, take that for what it's worth. Alright, let's get into Billy. I think the head is actually really pretty good. Kind of has a Super 7 feel to it with the flat kind of look there to him. Good sculpt on the hair, articulation all the way around. You do not get any outside movement there, but you do get some elbow, wrist, and pretty flexible there at the elbow. Legs up and down, it's about as high as you're getting. Knees, let's see, do you get a boot cut? No boot cut. Do get ankle all the way around and up and down, or no up and down on the ankle. Pretty much what you get there. The belt is kind of as is, and the morphin feature, so he's right here. We're gonna reach to the back, has a nice little thing there. We're just going to touch that and see how we do. See how we get along. And just like that, Morphin time. Morphin helmet. Again, not a ton of detail. Obviously, we didn't paint the eyes. We didn't do the lines there. But it is there if you are so inclined. We do have some sticky. There's a little sticky up here. So for whatever reason that is, we'll see if that trend continues. But I think it's fine. It does what it needs to do. Let's see how it stands. Let's see how we stand. We're not standing so good so far. Okay, there we go. Stands pretty easy, I think. And put the blaster in the holster, like so. And there you go. Again, this is definitely made for kids, with the kid idea in mind. So I think my kids will enjoy this. Has a lot more playability than the previous ones. And I do also like, from what I understand, is that you can morph it back. As we know, the old school ones, you could not do that. So now we're going to go ahead. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and do a comparison here. So side by side. That is them standing up. So there you go. Kind of get the idea there. Come on, focus on what I'm trying to focus. There we go. Height-wise, get them back to back. Definitely a bigger figure there. Head's bigger, all that good stuff. Different shiny, more detail, that kind of thing. But as you can see here, you get the one morph, and that's it. Then you have to flip it around. So scale-wise, no, these will not scale in any way, shape, or form with your original Ranger. So keep that in mind when you're purchasing these if you're, for whatever reason, want to mix and match. So there you go. And now we're going to go ahead and plow through the other ones, and then we'll get to good old Rita. Alright, and then we're going to get on to Zack, the Black Ranger. This is his weapon. Again, pretty straightforward, but the battle axe always has a little more weight to it. So pretty cool, pretty nice. Let's get on to old Zack himself. You know, I mean, face-wise, it is what it is. It's not really great. Eyes are a little buggy, but everything else pretty good. Go ahead and automorph him there. I think they could have at least done the eyes on this one. It's pretty straightforward color-wise, pretty simple. No, I don't feel it's not sticky, so no sticky on this one. But yeah, it's a little bit more noticeable when you don't do any extra work there. It's just very, very dark on the top. So yep, there you go, Zack. And I still can't believe I left Jason on the peg, but whatever, that was my fault. There you go. All right, moving on to Tommy. An interesting choice here. They went with a solid gold dagger with the blade being silver. Interesting. I would think it would be more cost effective to just do black and silver or green and silver, but I guess they went with the gold. So it's actually kind of cool and kind of adds some character to it for sure. You do get the dragon coin there and there. I guess it was easier to just do the whole thing gold than the emblem gold, maybe? I'm not sure. But now we go to good old Tommy Oliver. My Tommy does have a little goob there on the face, but otherwise it's kind of just barely worse than a Super 7, so not too bad. Do have the gold on the wrist, on the arms there, which they could have gotten away with not doing. I probably wouldn't have held it too much against them. Shield, it looks pretty good. It's a little bulky here with the extra plastic underneath versus just having this be its own little thing. But, and I'm assuming, is this gonna, yeah. So arms rotate and then the whole thing rotates with it, as you can see there. So, it is what it is. Get the automorphing going on. And see, we get the that little detail right there does a whole lot. And I think you would have done a whole lot, you know, here on the Mastodon helmet to just go ahead and do the eyes. I think that would have done a whole lot of good. You know, even here you don't have the eyes of the dragon helmet on there, but that one little accent really just kind of, it really kind of makes a difference there. So all in all, I really like them. I think they're fun. You know, you take them for what they are. We've got plenty. We've got the Lightning Collection. We've got Super 7. Things like that if you really want like high speed, high detailed figures. So I think we're doing okay. But now, kind of what people are most excited about, maybe except for Tommy, is checking out this Rita figure. So let's go ahead and crack open Rita and see what we got going on. Alright, let's jump into Rita. As most people know, at least in the Power Ranger line, we never got a Rita. We never got a Rita in the original releases, even in the giant size ones, the 8-inch figures, we never got a Rita. So this will be a first. I mean, we've gotten it since in Super 7 forms like that, but not in that scale. But here's her staff. I think a pretty decent amount of detail here, considering I think the sculpt is pretty good. Not over the top, but you know, good enough. I think it's nice and firm. I think this works. This is about what we would have gotten. The Thunder Rolls outside. A nice little play feature here. Goes on her knuckle. Oh, there you go. Alright, let's go ahead and get into Rita Repulsa herself. Pretty nice face sculpt. I really like the face. I think it's pretty dang good. Same thing with her hair. I think the detail here on her hair is nice. You know, have these little extra things going on. A little bit of movement there. You can move around, so that works. And I think there's a lot of room here for customizers to really have some good time. Paint, you know, a little paint here, paint on the hands or on her rings, paint up here. You know, if you really wanna, if you're really that talented, which I am not, you could definitely do some work going on there. Kind of a Polly Pocket plastic action going on there. Let's see how she stands. No problem there. A little action feature. Yada, yada, yada. There you go. So, I guess the real question is, if you want just Rita, how will Rita stack up with your old figure? So this is the last Rita we've got in a sort of action figure form. So, yeah, you can tell that's not really doing good for you. So let's go ahead and see how Rita stands next to an old school Power Ranger. Okay. That's pretty close. I would assume that Rita's probably short, so I think that works pretty good. But then I guess the question is, if these are bigger, how does she stack up with the new guys? I don't know. I think she. I don't know. It's rough, right? I don't know. I think she scales better with the old guys. So let's see how she stands up with the original Lord Zed. That's not bad. That's not too bad at all. And then another one I went ahead and pulled out because I thought she might actually scale better. But I think she's actually too big, is Ivan Ooze. So I think she works pretty dang good with that Lord Zed. And I think she does pretty dang good with the Ranger. I don't think she scales really that great with the rest of the Ignition series. So, kind of interesting there. But let's go ahead, get them all weaponed out, get them all posed out, and give our final thoughts on the brand new Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Reignition line from Playmates. And there we are. Wave 1 minus Jason. Yeah, that's my fault. Minus the Red Ranger. My thoughts. They don't stand up the greatest, as you can see. Zach's kind of doing a hibbity-wibbity boppity bop over there. But I would say if you're kind of like a fringe collector of Power Rangers and you're like, you know what, I wish I just had something to represent that time in my childhood, I think these get the idea across. You got the automorphin stuff going on, and you can get Rita in the line, which you couldn't get. We got Goldar coming, we got putties coming, which is really going to be interesting for me to get those putties and see if we can build a putty army. But if you're, kind of a fringe collector and you're like, I just would like a representation, I would think that you could get all 5 of these, or 6, I guess it would be 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 for a little over $100. I think that's a pretty good way of going about it versus trying to collect down decent versions of the vintage ones. That's probably a decent way to go. And then if you just want to show your kids the good old Power Rangers and don't want them playing with your stuff, well, then here you go again. Pretty fun stuff. So overall, happy with the purchase. We'll definitely be looking forward to getting the rest. Looking forward to seeing how good these Dinozords are. Hopefully they are just as good, just as fun as these are, but I do enjoy these a whole lot. Take them for what they are, and be happy that we're getting Power Ranger stuff, because we've been through a little rough patch here. So, but at the end of the day, that is just my opinion, and I'm sure that you have yours, and I'd love to hear about it in the comments down below. And while you're there, you might as well go ahead and like the video, and of course, subscribe to the channel, as we do post new content every single day. But it is that time, once again, it is that time to get on out of here. It is that time to throw one back. So for myself and Uncle BJ, we are going to throw one back, and we'll see you all next time.